Today is the first day of jury selection in the triple murder case against Chad Daybell. He's accused of killing and conspiring to kill his first wife, Tammy Daybell, as well as J.J. Vallow and Tylee Ryan, two of his current wife, Lori Vallow Daybell's kids. And our Morgan Romero is live at the Ada County Courthouse this evening, where the voir dire portion of the jury selection started this morning, part of jury selection in Morgan. It's happening in the same courtroom that Lori was tried and convicted about a year ago in.
It is, Joe. The judge, prosecution, and defense are still questioning that second round of potential jurors. That panel made up of 16 potential jurors. So far, 10 of those 16 jurors remain. That first round of potential jurors lasted about 4.5 hours, and of that group earlier today, 9 jurors move forward. This voir dire phase comes after more than 2,000 potential jurors were called to the Ada County Courthouse last week and asked to fill out juror questionnaires.
The Lori Vallow trial gave us a lot of insight into how we would do things this trial.
Ada County will once again host a high-profile murder case over the next 2 months.
Even the ones that were mildly paying attention now have a much clearer understanding of what the case and what the facts are about.
1 year after his wife, Lori Vallow Daybell, was tried and convicted in the very same courtroom,
conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, guilty.
Chad Daybell will stand trial for the murders of J.J. Vallow, Tylee Ryan, and Tammy Daybell, who he's accused of killing in 2019.
Come on up for the mic, Larry.
Thank y'all.
With all the publicity around Lori's trial.
Power, sex, and greed. For what?
She received so much attention.
Former Ada County Chief Deputy Prosecutor Gene Fisher says anyone paying attention to Chad's case now knows the facts presented in Lori's case.
And they also know what some of that really compelling evidence was against her, but it necessarily implicated him because of the conspiracy nature of what was happening.
Which would make it more challenging to seat a jury this week. Chad and Lori's trials were moved out of Fremont and into Ada County 2 years ago, with Ada having the largest population in Idaho and more resources.
We've been preparing on an ongoing basis since that trial with, quarterly and then monthly meetings with the folks from Southeast Idaho.
Ada County Administrative Judge Stephen Hippler says there's a better chance of finding a fair and impartial jury here. Is this putting a burden on Ada County?
Well, yeah. In some senses, sure. We are in a situation here where our judges are all extraordinarily busy. We're in a crisis with court reporters. We've outgrown this courthouse in terms of number of courtrooms that we need.
During this voir dire phase, Judge Boyce says 16 people will be called in at a time and questioned until they get to 50 potential jurors. The prosecution and defense each get 16 peremptory challenges where they don't have to explain why they're excusing jurors. At the end of jury selection, which could take the whole week or longer, they'll end up with 12 jurors and 6 alternates.
I do think that you can find a jury. Nobody says when you look for a jury that you don't have to know anything about anything, because otherwise that doesn't represent your peers either.
Unlike Lori's case, Chad faces the death penalty if found guilty of any or all of the murders. That adds another challenge to seating a jury and adds more questions for potential jurors.
A person who is philosophically just opposed to the death penalty and under any circumstances wouldn't vote for it, they're not eligible to serve on the jury.
When the jury deliberates at the end of Chad's trial, Hippler says they'll be sequestered. If they find him guilty and find the state proved at least one aggravating factor, the trial immediately goes into a penalty phase for about 2 weeks.
And the state then puts on all of its aggravating factors, and then the defense gets to put on its mitigating factors, which is a whole nother mini trial. And it's more of the history and background of Chad Daybell.
Jurors have to be sequestered for that as well.
The jury has to unanimously vote to impose a death penalty before one could lawfully be carried out.
If they can't reach a unanimous verdict, default punishment is life in prison. Fisher thinks that the failed execution of Idaho's longest-serving death row inmate Thomas Creech in February could come up during the questioning of potential jurors here at the Ada County Courthouse. You know, maybe some people were on board with the death penalty, but then that situation happened. We expect this trial to last up to 10 weeks, with 1 to 2 weeks on the front end for jury selection, and then 2 weeks on the back end for that penalty phase if Chad Daybell is found guilty.
Thank you, Morgan, reporting live from the Ada County Courthouse. And for everything you need to know about the upcoming trial, all of the live reports we'll have from the courtroom, you can text the word Daybell to 208-321-5614. We'll send you the latest on what's happening in the case. You can also get all the backstory and what led to this on our website, ktvb.com.